Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Thank God it's the weekend, right? Hey, Hibiscus. Thank you so much, girl, for the PayPal yesterday. I appreciate that so much. That's going on my cat condo. I'm going to begin. Good morning, Vicki. She says, yes, there was. Good morning, everyone. Yep. Before Chris Watts, there was Chris Coleman, and we're going to read all about him this morning. I saw a TikTok the other day, and this lady put up a video about him, and she said, before Chris Watts, there was Chris Coleman. And that piqued my interest. So I went and looked him up, and it turns out he was a bodyguard for Joyce Myers. You know, the female preacher, televangelist, whatever they call him. Yes, he was her bodyguard. He made about $100K a year. Okay, he had him a mistress too, and he had a wife and 2 young sons. And he was charged and convicted with murdering his wife and 2 young sons. He tried to get a new trial in 2020, but it didn't happen. But we're going to read all about him this morning. We may even take a look at his police interview. And if we have time, we'll look at Joyce Myers on the stand as like she testified. Because like I said, he was her bodyguard. See, I didn't know about this guy. I didn't know about him until I started looking into it. And I'm going to screen share the family here. And I'm reading from, hold on, I'll have to look. We want to give these people credit because they wrote this. We'll read it and give commentary. A true crime blog and podcast. And I'm going to share their link. Hey, Clancy. You haven't heard of this case, Hibiscus? It's an interesting one, but sad. He's just like Chris Watts. He had him a mistress, and so there's the link to this article, guys. And this is by Gina Glob something. No, she wrote it November 10th, 2021. The Ultimate Betrayal, the Coleman Family Murders. Christopher Coleman was born in 1977 to 2 Christian pastors, Ronnie and Connie. He and his brothers were raised in their parents' non-denominational Christian church and learned conservative values and teachings of the Bible. The children were noted to often speak in tongues, in fact. Y'all know what speaking in tongues is, don't you? Those who knew young Chris described him as mild-tempered and even sensitive. His father said the first time Chris was present when they butchered a rabbit, the boy was distraught. When Chris was in high school, a recruiter from the United States Marine Corps came to his school. Chris was impressed and inspired, so he signed up for the Marine Corps. He entered the military right out of high school and did very well in the Marines. According to his father, he would have stayed in the Marines for his entire career, except Bill Clinton and Monica, and all that was a disappointment. While Chris was still in the Marines, however, he met another member of the U.S. military, Sherry Wise. I guess that's how you say her name. Sherry was born in 1977, and she was raised in Cook County, Illinois. Sherry was a member of the United States Air Force. In August of 1997, Chris came to visit his parents in Chester, Illinois. He brought Sherry with him. He introduced Sherry to his parents, but they were not overly impressed. Ron Coleman said she was a worldly girl, little short shorts, tattoo on her leg, not the person we thought he'd be with. It's, I guess that's what he said in 2011. Just because you have a tattoo doesn't mean you're a bad person, or buck wild. Quickly afterwards, the couple married to the surprise of Chris's parents. Doesn't this sound like, Shanann and Chris a little bit? Because his parents didn't like Shanann. They eloped in private, but according to Chris' parents, he immediately had regrets. My gosh, he was raised in the church. He was repentant and broken over it, Ron Coleman said. The Colemans soon learned that Chris and Sherry were expecting a baby. Chris and Sherry welcomed their first son April 30th, 1998. Son, Garrett Dominique Eugene Coleman. They welcomed another son in 2000, Gavin Christopher Coleman. The couple settled in Columbia, Illinois, a small town just over the Mississippi River from Missouri. Both boys loved sports and played for the Columbia Blue Jays football team. Sherry was a homemaker, and Chris worked for Joyce Meyer Ministries across the river in St. Louis, Missouri. There's Chris and Sherry, guys. Chris and Sherry did not have a perfect marriage. In fact, they fought about a lot of things. First, Chris's job with Joyce Meyer Ministries. Joyce Meyer, a televangelist, frequently traveled for speaking and engagements. As her personal bodyguard, Chris accompanied her on these trips and traveled more than he was home. It was hard on Sherry and the boys. The boys kept a countdown calendar on the refrigerator in anticipation for when their father would return home. A second point of contention was money. Chris made a good salary, over $100K per year, but Sherry spent money quickly. She enjoyed shopping, going on mission trips, and donating to charities. Chris would sometimes get upset with her spending habits, and they occasionally fought about this. This sounds like Chris and Shanann too, because I think Shanann might have spent a lot of money. But I guess if I had it, I would too. A third issue in the marriage was lack of displays of affection. Chris was not a very affectionate person, and those who knew the couple said they rarely saw him hug or kiss Sherry or his sons. In fact, friends of Sherry said that she confided in them that Chris was never affectionate with her, not even during sex. The couple seemed to have different ideas on family as well. Chris's conservative family never quite accepted Sherry. Sounds like the Watts too. Sherry was affectionate and loving as a mother. See, it sounds like Shanann. She was fun-loving, and her children were her entire life. Chris was more of the strict disciplinarian father. He had expectations of excellence from his children in all things from manners to sports performance. Despite turmoil in the marriage, Sherry was committed to working things out with Chris. She told her friends that she just loved him too much to give up on the marriage. In November of 2008, things in the marriage got much worse. Chris told a friend he planned to divorce Sherry, but was going to have to wait until after the holidays to talk to her. Meanwhile, Sherry told a friend that she suspected Chris was having an affair. She had introduced Chris to a friend of hers and now suspected the two were romantically involved. Despite all of this, Sherry remained hell-bent to make the marriage work. Chris had reservations about divorce as well, as it may compromise his position with Joyce Meyer Ministries. The couple had other things to worry about anyway. Chris had started receiving death threats through Joyce Meyer Ministries. The televangelist made massive amounts of money through her speaking engagements in ministry, and some people believe she misused those funds. It was not uncommon for some nasty emails and letters to come through, but now these letters seem to be directed at Chris Coleman. The death threats accused Joyce Meyer of preaching bullshit and threatened Chris Coleman's family, saying, "I will kill them all while they sleep." The emails and letters came to Chris's work email and straight to the Coleman house. They kept coming, getting progressively more threatening. Chris had sent them to local law enforcement who had been keeping an extra eye on the house while Chris was on business trips. His neighbor, an officer with the Columbia Police Department, had a camera pointing at the house just in case. The final letter arrived in April of 2009, and it said, "This is my last warning. Your worst nightmare is about to happen." On the morning of May 5th, 2009, Chris Coleman left his home at 5:45 a.m. He drove across the river to St. Louis to complete his morning workout. He called Sherry just a few minutes after he left the house to make sure she was up. He said he called and texted several more times that morning, but did not get a response. When he was on his way home, he called his neighbor, the Columbia, Illinois police officer, and asked him to check on Sherry and the boys. He said he was on the JB Bridge about 5 minutes from home. Another officer meets Detective Barlow, the Coleman's neighbor, at the Coleman home. The two quickly discover a window with the screen out in the back of the house. The two called for backup, but then entered the home. They both described an overwhelming scent of spray paint as they came in the house. Unsure if anyone was still in the house, they were cautious with guns drawn. Spray painted on the walls were the following sayings: "Punished. I am always watching, and you have paid." At 6:56 a.m., Chris Coleman arrived home. Knowing this was probably not going to end well, the officer asked him to stay outside while they went upstairs. It was quickly noted that Chris took 13 minutes to complete what should have been a 5-minute drive. Authorities went upstairs and found the deceased bodies of Garrett, Gavin, and Sherry Coleman. The police chaplain informed Chris Coleman that his family was dead. He dropped to the ground and started sobbing. His father and Joyce Meyer arrived shortly after to comfort Chris. Chris was sitting inside an ambulance with the chaplain comforting him. The chaplain said Chris looked down at his knuckles and there were red marks. The chaplain asked him about the marks, and Chris began to punch the gurney over and over. Chris was brought into the Columbia Police Department for an initial interview. He explained that he spent the day before playing with his children and then watching television. He and Sherry put the boys to bed and then cuddled. Chris said she fell asleep in his arms. He told them how he got up early to work out and tried calling Sherry several times throughout the workout to make sure she was up. He said when she didn't answer, he got very worried and asked his neighbor to go check on the family in light of the recent threats they had been receiving. One thing the authorities found interesting is that Chris never mentioned his own security system, which may have caught the intruder on tape. Authorities had to prompt him. Neither his nor the neighbor's security tape showed anyone coming or going from the house other than Chris Coleman. They asked Chris about marital problems, which he mostly denied. He does tell them he has a close friend, Tara Lentz, but denies a sexual relationship or an affair. Tara Lentz was a friend of Sherry's from high school. She had introduced Tara to her husband in November the year before. Tara Lentz was being interrogated down in Florida already. Tara explained that she and Chris were indeed having an affair. In fact, they had exchanged promise rings. The two had planned to marry in January 2010. Chris failed to mention that he had already canceled the family's trip to Disney World and instead booked a cruise to the Virgin Islands for Tara and himself. According to Tara, Chris was going to serve Sherry with divorce papers the day of the murders. She had begun registering for wedding gifts, looking for a home in St. Louis for the family, and discussing baby names. Okay, and this is Chris and Tara, the woman he's having an affair with. And I'll look at the chat when I get done, guys. As the investigation continued, neighbor and friends were appalled to learn that Chris had dismantled a memorial for his wife and children from their front yard. He also moved out several boxes of their belongings by mid-May. Chris's behavior and lies about his affair certainly painted him in a bad light. But did it mean he was a murderer? Hold on. When DNA testing came in from under Sherry's nails, it was consistent with Chris Coleman, but was not a definite or definitive match. Pieces of the paint from the walls, laptop computers, BlackBerry, and other items were also sent to be examined. The Cyber Crimes Unit investigated the threatening emails, which came from an address, destroychris@gmail.com. They were able to determine the IP address in which the emails originated was Chris Coleman's own laptop. He was the one sending the threats to him and his family. Someone had used his own laptop to create and send the threatening emails. They also realized that the letters had several misspellings in common with known writings from Chris Coleman. The autopsies determined that Sherry, Garrett, and Gavin were killed by strangulation. And I just want to point out that it takes about 4 minutes, 3 to 4 minutes to strangle someone. That's a long time. Strangling them looking you in the face. The medical examiner put the time of death before 5 a.m. when Chris Coleman was still in the home. According to the examiner, Sherry's body showed signs of rigor mortis, which was crucial in determining the time of death. Finally, the writings on the wall and spray paint were examined. The handwritings of the messages were consistent with known writings from Chris Coleman, according to a forensic handwriting specialist. The spray paint was determined to a specific brand and the color was candy apple red. Upon examining Chris's bank statements, they found a purchase from a small hardware store in St. Louis from a few months prior to the murders. The store kept very good records and shocked authorities by confirming Chris had purchased a can of candy apple red spray paint. In May of 2009, Chris Coleman was arrested and charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder. Soon after, Sherry's family filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Chris. This would prevent him from liquidating any assets, including selling the family home. Chris Coleman awaited trial as friends of Sherry's came forward. One friend claimed that Chris told Sherry he wanted a divorce, but Sherry refused to give him one. She told me he was tired of keeping him. She told me he was tired of her keeping him from God's destiny for his life, said Megan Turnbow, a friend of Sherry's. Chris Coleman went to trial at the end of April 2011. The star witness was Tara Lentz, Chris's mistress and Sherry's high school friend. Tara testified about the two exchanging promise rings, their future wedding plans, testified about provocative photos that she sent to Chris and similar photos that he had sent to her. Dr. Raj Naduri, the pathologist, testified that she could not pinpoint the time of death, but based on liver temperature, she believed it to be between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. Dr. Michael Baden, a world-famous pathologist, testified that his analysis put the time of death at around 3 a.m. Even Joyce Meyer was called to testify, stating that Chris would have likely lost his job had she known of the affair or had he divorced his wife. The prosecution's theory was clear. Christopher Coleman was carrying on an affair with the vivacious Tara Lentz. He regretted his quick marriage to Sherry and wanted to build a new life with Tara. He started sending him self-threatening messages shortly after his affair with Tara began. He told Tara he was serving Sherry with divorce papers on the very day Sherry and the boys were murdered. He bought the spray paint in advance. He planned the murders for months. In the very early morning hours of May 5th, 2009, he strangled his wife and both of his sons while they slept. He then spray painted the messages on the wall, staged the window to make it look like an intruder, and went to work out. He began calling Sherry only minutes after leaving the house to wake her up. which authorities believe was actually to set his alibi. He purposely took the extra time driving home to ensure police would discover the bodies before he arrived. When someone noticed marks on his knuckles, he began punching a gurney to explain the injuries away. The former Marine and pastor's son was found guilty on all three counts of first degree murder 2 years after the crimes in May 2011. Chris was spared the death penalty and sentenced to 3 life sentences without the possibility of parole. The judge cited the, let me see if I can say this, abolition or something of the death penalty in Illinois in 2011 as the key factor in his decision. Oh, I think it was, I can't say it. Never mind. It was set to be abolished July 1st of that year. Okay. Ron and Connie Coleman were never convinced of their son's guilt. In fact, they defended him at every turn. When faced with the fact that their son had an affair, Ron said, Sherry told Chris all the time that he was moody and he wasn't affectionate enough. She never did compliment him. Wow, talk about victim blaming. That's why he was so attracted to Tara. He also reportedly told media outlets that Chris had an affair because Sherry failed to fulfill her wifely duties. Wow. Wow, that's some great Christian people right there, honey. They need to get on their knees and pray. Their son's a piece of shit. He's a weirdo, and they can't come to terms with it. As of 2020, all of Chris Coleman's appeals have been denied. Chris Coleman will likely never be free, but that will not bring back Sherry, Garrett, and Gavin. In one of the most horrific crimes ever committed in southern Illinois, one innocent woman and 2 young boys were robbed of their entire future by the person they trusted the most. This is a case of ultimate betrayal. Hey, that was a great article. I'm going to follow these people. I'm going to have to sign up for this because that was a good read right there, y'all. This case reminds me, let's look at that mistress again. She is pretty, but she has to be a piece of crap too. Let's go full screen because that's her friend's husband. Like, where's your morals, lady? Where is your morals? And that damn Coleman family, y'all, blaming Sherry for Chris having an affair. That is bullcrap. That is disgusting. I can't believe they would say that about their deceased grandchildren's mother, who's also deceased. Hey, Robbie. I'm going to go to my chat, y'all, catch up. I want to see what all y'all are saying. Let me unpin this. That's so annoying. Robbie. I love watching your streams. I usually catch the replay. I'll be watching you and Amanda Lynn when I do my makeup. I take turns watching y'all. Let's see. Coleman wants pod made in prison. Hey, Pugs. How are you doing, hun? Fat Baby Toodles' oldest guy. Couldn't remember who the hell was till Joyce Meyer came up. Yeah, let's take a little look at one of his interviews with police, guys. Y'all can get an idea how he acted. I love doing these cases that done been solved. I need part 1 right here. We'll look at Joyce Meyer testimony. It's like an hour long, so I don't know if we can watch all that. Let me get the ad down. Let it play out. I don't have YouTube Premium. I used to when I was trying it out free, but I'm not paying for that crap. See if I can screen share this. Let me mute.
that was legitimate. But we go out and we come back in. And we felt very comfortable that we were giving you every opportunity to tell us something that was going to contradict the information that we had. All right, we got this information, you're saying it, and we're giving you opportunity to give us something contrary to what you told us before, so that, okay, yeah, all right, that would make sense. That hasn't happened. That hasn't happened. Listen, man, she wasn't alive when you left.
She was alive. She was laying right beside me.
We can go back and forth with this all day long, but the physical evidence doesn't lie. She was not alive when you left this morning. The children weren't alive when you left this morning.
Yes, they were.
No, that's the point we're at. I want to hear the reasons. Now it's going to find out what happened. It's so important. You're at great points to be able to help us to figure this out. We already know what happened. We need to know why.
I want to tell you.
Listen.
Okay, Robbie.
Come on, Chris. She was not alive when you left. The children were not alive when you left. You know that's true, and I know that's true.
No,
we need to clear this up now. We need to clear it up now. Did something happen? What happened?
Nothing happened.
What was going on in your life, Chris? Because I can't buy what you're saying. The physical evidence does not lie, Chris. It does not. She was not alive when you left, period. The physical evidence does not lie, man.
What do you want me to tell you? I'm telling you the truth.
How did we get to this point? That's what I need to know. I need to know how and why we got to the point we're at right now. We both know you're not telling me the truth. We both know that. I've done this a long time. I'm looking into your eyes, and I can tell you're not being truthful, Chris. We need an answer. There are answers. As bad as this sounds, as bad as this looks, or you may think it looks, we understand. And I've talked to many people who have given me reasons, and it's like, you know what? Okay, all right, I can understand how somebody might have been feeling that at that time, and maybe they acted on it. And they shouldn't have, and they regret it. There's no way to turn clocks back. You can't turn clocks back. You understand that?
I know he did it. Her body was done still.
You need to know what and why. Come on,
Rick
Chris,
and
help
Morty.
me out with
It
this.
takes like an hour
I told
to
everybody. I told the ambulance. I told you. I told him.
The more we go back like this, the more it makes me think that there maybe even isn't a good explanation for it. I mean, we need to know what happened. We can't keep going on this. It didn't, she was alive when I left. We know that's not true, and there's nothing we can do about changing that. If we know she wasn't alive when you left this morning, there's got to be an explanation. Now's the time to tell us. Now's the time to get this out of the
I don't know what else to tell you.
Yes, you do. Yes,
No.
you do. You have to tell me the truth, Chris.
I'm telling you the truth.
Were you involved in her death?
No.
Okay. Was someone you know involved in her death?
I don't know. No, absolutely not.
Okay. You're
Okay, guys. Sorry. It takes me a second for this to load back up for me. It's playing something. For me to get back over to StreamYard and mute myself. Let's look at part 2. This damn Chromebook. Oh my gosh. It just will not. It just don't want to load up and stuff. When I'm streaming. If I'm not streaming, he sounds like a child. I don't know. Yeah, he worked for your hero, Robbie, Joyce Meyer. I like her too. But hey, Bama Cat, the reason he killed his family was because he would have lost his job. And he wanted rid of him for his mistress. Joyce would have fired him for getting a divorce, and she would have fired him for having an affair. Hey, we got no sound here, people. Let's go back. It won't go no louder, y'all. Speed it up.
I'll tell you what the beginning was to start off when you got up this morning until the time you pull out the house. Just kind of walk you through that first, and then we'll go through and kind of explain, talk about some different things as far as the emails you get. Okay.
got to 5:30, 5:00. These things here are on. And to the bathroom. You got that truck and what? And drove off. I got to Maryland. Called the charity to wake her going. Get her going. She didn't answer. Of course. So I went on to the gym. I run his closet and stuff. And started working out. Text her at some point. Might even call her again. I could probably look at my phone if you want me to. You guys have a phone too. Just cell phone, she's okay. So I text her and then she still didn't respond. And
I remember he sent threatening emails to himself from his own computer. You're exactly right, Cement Shoes. I thought I was freaking muted. If it's robot and let me know, it's a lot easier for me to stay unmuted, so I don't get in trouble for this.
Called her again on the way back.
I remember Joyce said she was questioned. We can take a look at that too, Robbie. This is just like the Watts case almost.
So she didn't do that at all.
So what time did you text her? The second time.
Poor old Joyce on the stand.
23 a.m. is when you first got this morning.
Did you try to call before? That? Okay, that's just text. I'm sorry. That's just text. This first one is 623. She doesn't respond to you. You're right. Okay. And so it's at what for you says. He was tired last night. 6:43. Says I have 5 minutes. Cardio. They don't be cool. Did she never respond? Yes, they can. And then at 7:27. Says hello. You up? I'm sorry. 6:27. 6:27.
So his family didn't like Sherry because she had a tattoo and wore short shorts. But the weirdo son can have enough fire and kill his family, and they're all right with that. Still Sherry's fault. You know? We'll make some comparisons here in a minute. I gotta get some coffee.
Anything that sticks out of you kind of court you recognize it.
See, not grab anything. Not grab anything.
Okay. Let's stop this. Stop screen sharing, and we will take a look at Joyce Meyer's interrogation. We won't be able to play it all because I think it's like an hour long. And then let's make some comparisons. Y'all help me out with the Watts case to the Coleman case.
What do you think that showed? I don't know.
Hold on, I want you muted. Hold on. Oh my gosh. Y'all, I'm going to end up murdering this damn Chromebook. I swear to God I am. It won't work. It don't want to load up and stuff when I'm live streaming. Okay. Let me see. I think I actually watched the Joyce Meyer. Yeah, it's 24 minutes. Let's look, see what she's.
If the literature being read to the child isn't entertaining to the...
Hold on a minute. I want to see what this says at the bottom. An edited video from Joyce Meyer's testimony in the Chris Coleman murder trial. Okay. These people probably copyright strike me.
Parent, throw it away.
Belleville
Children's
News.
literature.
Okay. Let's go back. Where is this? Not full screen. We can't go full screen. Hold on. Hold on, guys. I'm going to share it. Let's see. Poor old Joyce. I love Joyce Myers. You know, she's a preacher lady, but I wouldn't want to mess with her. She might take your damn head off.
Joyce Meyer. Hey, could you spell your last name for the record?
Meyer.
Damn it, it's lagging. Play
Ma'am, what is your occupation?
in video.
Ma'am, what is your occupation?
In general.
I'm a Bible teacher and minister.
We can't even see her mouth moving. Hold on a minute. See if it'll load up, and then I'll go back and try to share, guys.
And I know you're with Joyce Meyer Ministries. Could
Yes.
you briefly give us a description of what that is?
Our ministry, we have a large teaching ministry that goes around the world by television and radio. We have large outreaches around the world to the poor and the needy, a lot of orphanages, and support hospitals and medical programs and things like that for the underprivileged.
How many employees do you think you have worldwide?
About 900.
Get right to the point.
And
Do
we'll
you
get
know
right
the
to the point.
defendant
Do
in
you
this
know the
case, Christopher
defendant in this case,
Yes, I
Christopher
do.
Coleman?
How
Yes, I do.
How long have you known him?
Since he was a little boy.
And how was
How was
that?
that?
Oh, wow.
His parents came to some conferences that I did over in Illinois. I did a weekly meeting over there. His mother came to it, brought him
Oh,
with
that's
No, at
how
some point
he
did he
Now, at some
became
point,
a
did he become
bodyguard.
an employee of Joyce Meyer's
Yes,
ministry?
he did. Yes,
And
he
about
did.
when was
About
that?
when was that?
Probably about
1998.
1998.
So in
through
2009,
2009, he was with you about 11 years. Is that correct? What kind of employee was he? What was his
employee was he? What was his
responsibilities?
God
He was
bless.
in the security department.
responsibilities there?
He was
Was
in
he
the
in
security
general
department.
security?
Was he in general
Did he move up through the ranks?
security?
What happened with that?
Did he move
If I
up
remember
through the ranks?
correctly, he
What
started in
happened?
general
If I
security and
remember
then
correctly, he started in
became
general security and then he became
the supervisor of that department.
the supervisor
And then,
of that department. And then
Well, let
one
me like the
personal
video.
security
one
person that
personal
I had
security
left
person
our
that I
employee.
had,
We offered
left
Chris
our
that job
employee.
and he took.
we offered Chris that job and he took it.
And what that job?
And what did that job entail then? Did
He traveled with us.
He
when we
traveled with us when we did
did
conferences, when we did
conferences,
speaking
when we did speaking
engagements,
engagements,
and when we went out
and
of the
when we
country,
went out of the
and did
country and did
crusades in
crusades
other
in
countries.
other countries.
Wow.
How often? Was it monthly that you would take one of these longer trips?
Longer trips?
Well, out of the country, we would
Well, out
only
of the
go 2 to
country,
3
we
times
would
a
only go
year.
2 to 3 times
And
a year. And then we did
We
13
did 13
conferences
here in
the U.S.
the U.S.
And
I just want to pause for a minute and say something because I forgot to tell y'all about it. But at the wife and kids' funeral, he was actually texting his mistress.
we cut down
Some as time
went by,
went by, and then I would
several
do several speaking engagements a year.
Okay, so
So a different trip where you just go there and back,
Yes.
as opposed to a
as opposed to a
conference
conference where you might stay.
for a few days.
Yeah, when we did our
Yeah, when we did our
conferences,
conferences, we'd be on Thursday,
Friday,
Friday, Saturday.
If I did speaking
engagement, I would normally just go and come back the same day.
And by
And by the end of his
employment,
employment, he was traveling with you
to all
to all
these
these
conferences.
conferences.
Yes.
Yes.
But
What did he do during the conferences?
Just made sure that everything was safe for me in the crowds. You know, when people wanted to talk to me, that it was okay. You know,
somebody was okay.
we had pretty large crowds. And so it was mainly just for our safety and to make sure that everything went right.
Would he travel ahead of your party to
arrange things like that? Or?
arrange things like
Sometimes
that?
he went ahead of us, yes.
Sometimes he went ahead of us.
Gone
yes.
a lot to have a family.
And by 2009, at the end
And
of
by
his
2009, at the end of his
employment,
employment, do you know how much he was making?
$100,000.
$100,000.
Wow.
Did he have a
Did he have a company laptop computer?
Yes.
Did he carry it with
Did
him?
he carry it with him?
Yes.
Is this something
Is
that
this
you
something that you
saw
saw with him when you made these trips, for example?
Yes.
Yes.
Seemed to
He
always
seemed
have it.
to always have it with him.
Yeah, so he could send
Carry
a self-threatening
computer.
email.
Did you ever see anybody else?
Did you ever see
use
anybody
that
else
computer
use that computer other than the defendant?
Not too
No.
bright.
Okay, May
Okay,
26th,
May 26th, May 6th, 2009. This is the day after
Sherry
Sherry and her sons were
Did you
murdered.
speak to the police that
Did you
day?
speak to the police that day?
Yes.
When you talked to the police
When
on
you
that
talked to
day,
the police on that day,
the
the day after this
were you
incident,
aware
were
whether or not this defendant was having an affair?
I wasn't in the beginning of the interview, but I was informed toward the end of the interview that he had confessed to having an affair.
But as you
But as
came into it that day, you didn't
I did not know.
Were you aware of whether or not he was having marital problems, though, between him and
I
Sherry?
did.
I didn't know that
He and
he and
Sherry
were having some marital problems.
How did you know that?
Well, she had called our office and talked to.
I'm gonna object as a cause for hearsay unless she
Spoke directly with this witness.
Okay.
Did you speak with
Sherry?
Sherry Coleman?
No.
Okay. How were you aware that they were having marital problems?
She talked
to my son, Daniel.
And did
And
he
did he
relate that to you?
He told me so I could
Talk to
talk to
Chris
Chris
about it.
about it.
Oh.
And did you in fact talk to the defendant about the situation?
I did.
And
And
it's
just
just
It
generally, what
probably
was that
made him mad his wife
conversation?
called and told them.
He said that, you know, that they were having issues that Sherry had told Daniel that.
Sherry had told Daniel that.
Okay.
Sherry Coleman told anybody.
Okay.
Sherry Coleman told anybody.
Well, my
Okay.
son Daniel told me.
Well, my son Daniel told me.
Okay.
Okay.
Regarding the situation.
Although,
Regarding as well.
although what
Oh, I didn't know she had a
and
son.
you could tell us.
I love Joyce
What was your
Meyer.
conversation with the
Okay.
defendant
Okay.
about?
What he told me is that
What he told me is that
he felt that Sherry was very
he felt
controlling.
that Sherry
No
was
matter
very
what he did,
controlling. That no matter what he did,
she wasn't happy.
she wasn't
And,
happy, and
That they just in general,
that they just
you know,
in
were
general,
not getting along.
Sounds like
You know,
a
and he
lot.
was just
getting
really
along, and that he was just really
tired of it. And
tired of it. And
at that point, I asked him if
at that point,
you know,
I
they'd
asked
be
him
willing
if
to get
they'd
some
be willing
marriage
to
counseling
get some
from
marriage counseling
the
from
pastor that we have at
the
our
pastor
office.
that we have at our
And
office. And
Right away, he said yes.
Right away, he
They
said
were
yes.
willing to do
They were
that,
willing to
which
do
they
that,
did do.
which they did do.
Do you know about when that was that he talked to you about?
Hey, I'm going to have to pause this for a minute. You know, his family was saying that Sherry never gave him any compliments. Well, if you're living with somebody that don't never hug you or kiss you or show you any affection, it's going to annoy you. It's going to make you, like, you know, angry towards that person. So, you know, you might not speak to them in the best way. Hey, you know, the lady was only human.
About that?
It was in the fall, 2008.
All right. Did you ever become aware of any threats that this defendant said he had received against himself or his family?
Yes, he told me about some.
The defendant personally told you that?
Yes.
What did he tell you? What threats did he record?
He told me that he had gotten an email threatening his family if he did not stop working for me. And then he told me that somebody started putting these threats in his mailbox.
Is the echoing?
Became more concerned about them
since
somebody knew
I'm going to have to mute then.
where he lived. He told me that they had taken
Just my wife never hugs. Does it make you angry?
to the police in Belleville, and that he also had a detective that lived across the street from him, and that they were going to make arrangements to put a camera there on his mailbox to see if they could see who was actually doing it.
And you said Belleville. He actually lived in Columbia. Is that right?
Columbia. Yeah,
that's
I'm sorry.
When do you think that was when you became aware of the threats from him?
I think it was probably sometime late March or in April
Of 2009 then? Is it spring? Okay. To your knowledge, had any other employee ever been singled out in that way?
No.
Did you have other employees that provided security as this defendant did?
One other one, yes.
And there wasn't threats or anything to that person?
No.
Okay, this was all from a conversation you had with police on May the 6th, but on May the 12th, did you again ask to talk to the police?
Yes.
Why did you do that?
About a month prior to
But damn Wi-Fi
beginning
signal
of
is messed up,
during the
y'all.
month of April, I just felt like he was just noticing that he wasn't as attentive to his duties. He was forgetting things that were just not normally him, and just in general not quite as engaged. Married all the time.
Okay, guys. We're going to play this from my phone.
Cell phone, and I started asking another question. Then I just thought, it's really none of my business if he has a personal cell phone. So I just,
Oh my God,
I let
Justin.
that go. And
Did he, during that period of time, ever call in sick for work?
on May the 4th, he called and told me that he wasn't feeling good and asked if he could take the day off.
May the 4th, 2009.
But
Right.
feeling good.
Was that unusual for the defendant?
Yes, he was. I mean, he worked for us 11 years, so I can't swear that he never took a day off, but I didn't remember him ever calling me and saying that he didn't feel good and wanted to take off. He was just always there.
And how were you informed on May the 4th, 2009 that
So
he
are
wasn't
you,
coming to work
Robbie.
that day?
He called me in the morning and asked me if he could take the day off.
Is there anything else? Did the defendant go on a trip with you during that period of time to the state of Florida?
Yes.
Was there anything about that trip, again, something you observed directly of the defendant, that caused you now to be
Probably
suspicious?
down there screwing his mistress.
Well, he stayed there. He said he wanted to stay down there for a few days after our trip was over, after the working part of our trip was over. He said he was going to visit his friends.
Let me pause and answer Gayla's questions. He did turn the emails, threats over to law enforcement, and they were keeping a watch on his house. Plus, a policeman was his neighbor, and he pointed his security camera towards like the Coleman's house so that he could keep an eye out. I said to anyone Robbie tells me to, CC rocks. Oh, thank you, Justin. I think I'm subscribed to you. Y'all check out Justin's channel, Save Robbie. I just love Robbie. Now, sometimes he likes people I don't like, but I don't care. That's the way I am because I like him. But anyways, let's finish listening, Joyce.
Sherry's.
I'm not
After I found
professional,
out
y'all.
That was the girl that he'd been having the affair with. Made me kind of suspicious then as to why he stayed there.
And that was sometime during this period of time, late 2008, early 2009?
Yes, I think it was in 2009.
Okay. And was that unusual for him to stay after when you'd gone on that trip?
Yeah, and especially he was by himself, so.
Yeah, who would want to have an affair with him? He looks like a freaking pug dog, which pug dogs are cute, but it's not a cute look on a human.
And again, in retrospect, that made you wonder.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uglier than sin.
Now, I have to ask you, if the defendant were having an affair, if you had known that at the time, and I understand you've testified that you didn't, what effect would that have had on his employment?
If he would have been having an adulterous affair while he was still married, then it could have definitely affected his job.
Okay. Were there persons over the years that were terminated in situations like that?
We had situations where they were, yes.
And in fact,
Okay, hold up. I got to ask y'all smart people. I love morally strong women like Joyce Meyer. Me too. I got to ask y'all smart people something. Can you actually fire somebody because they're having an affair? Is that legal? I mean, is that like violating their rights some way? Unless, I guess, they have like this work contract they got to sign. I know, like in the military and stuff, you can get booted out for having an affair. Y'all let me know. Oh, too, Justin. Joyce has been through so much.
he was married during the period of time that he worked for you, married to Sherry Coleman, correct?
Yes.
Were there other persons who had adulterous affairs while married whose employment was terminated at Joyce Meyer Ministry
Yes.
for that reason?
Yes.
Now, I have to ask you about the distinction here. What if it was a divorce as opposed to an adulterous affair?
Each situation is handled totally separately based on the circumstances. We have many people that work for us that have been divorced, and a person is not necessarily, do they lose their job because they get a divorce? It wouldn't have been the divorce so much.
Okay, so she's saying he wouldn't necessarily lost his job for getting a divorce. There's been other people that works for us got a divorce.
As the immorality.
So
Based
for
on the
instance,
morality.
if a person in your employment, if their spouse filed for divorce against them, and perhaps they had little control over that, you might leave them in your employment. That's a possibility. Okay, and on the other end of the spectrum, if a person was having an adulterous affair and then filed for divorce from their spouse to be with that person, then their employment may have been terminated.
May have been, yes.
Okay. Do you think there was any situations of that in the past where someone was actually terminated under those kind of circumstances?
I believe so.
Okay, at some point, you did learn that the defendant was having an affair, is that correct?
Yes.
Was that from the police, or how did you actually find that out?
Well, the police initially said that he had confessed to the affair.
What effect did that have on his employment? And I don't know what happened at the end of his employment.
Before you answer that question, I just want to object again to this whole line of questioning
Oh my
regarding
God,
had
shut
this
up.
witness known at the time he was having an affair, because I don't think that at all has any relevance to any issues here.
Oh, yeah, it
Because the
does.
fact of the matter is, and I think this witness testified that she did not learn of the affair until the police informed her of the affair sometime after the homicides were committed at some
Okay.
later date, and this witness never knew prior to that he was having
Speed
an
it
affair. So I
up.
think any questioning about what this witness or what would have happened to his employment at that time are not relevant.
Let me pause a minute. If I was straight, I would marry Joyce. Robbie says, well, you know, if that sheriff down in Polk County, Sheriff Grady Judd, was single, I'd marry him. I think he is freaking awesome. I think he's sheriff in Polk County. It may be another county, but it's Sheriff Grady Judd. I mean, he really gives those weirdos down the road who come on, you know, have the news out there filming him, and he'll have big old posters of them. He gives them down the road. Okay.
I understand all that, but I think the record will be clear that what I asked her was what happened after she was aware that he was having an affair. What actually happened?
Okay, I understand that. I'm not objecting.
All right, so that's what I'm asking.
She
Once
didn't
you were
know till
aware that he was
after the
having an affair,
murder.
and obviously he's no longer employed with you. What happened to his employment?
He resigned.
Okay. Did he discuss that with you?
No, that was handled through our COO.
Did you fire him?
I didn't know.
Employment? Okay, so once that situation became common knowledge, the defendant resigned employment with Joyce Meyer Ministry,
He asked to resign, yes.
and you accepted his resignation.
That was after the
Thank you.
murder.
No further questions.
Ms. Meyer, Mr. Coleman was an excellent employee during his 11 years at Joyce Meyer Ministries.
Yes, he was.
And he started the security department from the ground up pretty much.
I believe so.
And you had no complaints of him as an employee at Joyce Meyer Ministry?
Nope.
And the things that you testified to about your suspicions only became your suspicions after Mr. Coleman was arrested and charged with these offenses. Is that correct?
Yes.
Only after looking back, correct?
Yes.
They were not suspicious or unusual at the time of these events.
No, there were things that I felt were a little bit unusual, but because he'd worked for us so long and I had no reason to think otherwise, I didn't know. Yeah.
Now, you testified
Always go with
about
your gut
some
feeling.
marital problems between Chris and Sherry Coleman, and you became aware of those problems. And your understanding of those problems is that they were just normal type communication problems or marital problems that would be typical in marriages. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And you spoke with Mr. Coleman about that and directed him or suggested that he get counseling with Mike Shepard.
I wonder if Chris was mad when Sherry called Joyce Meyer's Ministries. And she told Joyce's son that they was having marital problems. And he went and told, what's her son's name, Daniel, I believe? He went and told Joyce, and Joyce talked to Chris about it. I bet
I
that
asked him
upset
if they
him.
would get counseling with Mike, and then he said yes.
So he immediately said yes. Is that right?
Yes.
And he followed through with that counseling.
Yes.
Mr. Shepard, what's his position? Is he employed by Joyce Meyer Ministry?
He's in our employment.
Is he a pastor or?
He's a pastor. He functions as like a chaplain for our ministry, and does a lot of work within the department. He's got a leadership teaching, just a lot of different things like that. He helps oversee our church in the inner city.
It could happen, Robbie. You never know what's going to happen in life.
Is he a licensed
Dream
counselor,
big.
marriage counselor?
He's a licensed pastor.
Okay. Is that? Well, I don't think that answers my question. Though. I mean, is he a licensed counselor or marriage counselor?
No.
Is that one of his normal parts of his job? Is to engage in marriage counseling or other types of counseling?
Yes.
And you sent Mr. Coleman to counseling because you believe that could benefit him in his marriage with Sherry Coleman. Is that correct?
Yes.
And in fact, based on your observations after they had gone to several counseling sessions, things had seemed to have gotten better between Chris and Sherry Coleman. Is that
It
correct?
wasn't anything I observed. It was what I was told. He told me they were doing better. And
Yeah.
the counselor, Mike Shepard, indicated that he felt they were doing better.
Yeah. How do you really know if a couple's doing better when you're not in the home with them? They may just be acting like that in front of the counselor and stuff because of his job.
So was Mr. Shepard supposed to report back to you on how the counseling was progressing?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And he did report back to you
Yes.
that things were going pretty well. Is that
Yes.
right? And I think you testified
She
before
looks
that
cute
or
in
earlier
this
that
video.
Sherry Coleman never contacted you directly
No, she
about
did
these
not.
marital problems. Is that correct?
Yes.
She contacted Joyce's son. And then he told Joyce.
Now, while Mr. Coleman was working
He's a coward.
at the ministry, you were aware that he had looked into other job opportunities.
Yes.
And one of those opportunities included starting his own business. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. We've listened to enough of this. We get it. She did not know about the affair. She thought some things were a little, weird, suspicious. But, he He just worked for him so long that she kind of just, blew it off. Always go with your gut feeling. If you're thinking something or suspicious of something, it's probably going on. It's probably going on. That's a good sign if a gay guy hits on you, Justin. I mean, you still got it. Hey, women hit on me all the time. It's flattering when someone hits on you. It doesn't matter if it's male or female. Anyways, guys, y'all get it. The weirdo was convicted. He wanted a new trial. I believe he wanted one in 2020, but he was denied it. Let me see what else I can find on him. He's a lot like Chris Watts. One of them people that doesn't show a lot of affection. Now, a lot of people's not big huggers and kissers, such as, say, Robbie. But I'm sure he shows his partner, Michael, affection in other ways, besides like hugging and things like that. But Chris Watts was like real reserved, just like Chris Coleman. They both were having affairs, both had a mistress, both killed their wife and children. Chris Watts's family, mom and dad, wasn't that crazy about Shanann, and the Coleman parents weren't crazy about Sherry at all. I mean, they automatically, the first time they met her, judged her. And, judged her like she was some kind of wild child because she had short shorts on and like a little tattoo. Judging by the pictures of Sherry and what I've read about her, she wasn't no trashy person. She was a good person and a very, very good mother, wonderful mother. She loved her children. She was trying to make her marriage work, just like Shanann was trying with Chris Watts. Both of these Chris's checked out of the marriages, and the wives were trying to hold on to the family. Red flags means something's up. Yes. I need to find my live chat here. I'm just looking at StreamYard's chat, and it only shows the daggone. Let me turn this down. Top chat. Okay, here we go. I love hugging Michael. I just not really a hugger with friends. Yeah, I'm talking about like when I said earlier, like for me as a woman, if you don't get showed affection and stuff, it just agitates you and it can make things worse. I think everybody needs to be shown that their partner cares about them. That's my opinion. Gayla, not as trashy as the mistress. Amen. And just because a girl has a pair of short shorts on doesn't mean that they are a trashy person or a skank or a hoe. That means she was a young girl and everybody wears short shorts. Personally, I wouldn't wear short shorts to go meet somebody's parents, but to each their own. If somebody came to meet me, my son's girlfriend in short shorts, I wouldn't really think nothing about it unless their cheeks was hanging out in their cookie. Why can't women show more affection? Well, true. No, women should show their partners affection too. Absolutely, Justin. That goes both ways. I think everybody needs to be shown some affection. Animals need affection. Humans need affection. Some people don't really like affection. I personally do. I like affection. Just don't be hanging all over me 24/7. Follow me to the bathroom, things like that. I love short shorts because I'm a whore. Well, I used to be anyway. Robbie, you crack me up. Robbie, you need to do a TikTok with the song. Not too long ago, I used to be a hoe. And I'm admitting it. That's what you need to do. It's by, who is that girl? She was on Love and Hip Hop. Mariah something. I can't remember. But it's not too long ago, I used to be a hoe. Okay, let me get back serious. So anyways, this son of a bitch, instead of getting a divorce, find him another damn job, he decided he wanted to murder his entire family, his wife and 2 little boys. And you think about strangling someone to death. It takes about 4 minutes to do that. 4 minutes of him looking down at his little children as they probably fought. He just strangled the life out of them. But he strangled the mom first. Strangled the mom first, and then he went and strangled the boys in their sleep. You know they had to wake up. I mean, he's just like Chris Watts. Justin, I find a lot of women to be cold. I find a lot of women get on my damn nerves. Just my women that come and chat with me are good ladies, but a lot of women get on my nerves, like these women that don't want a door held open for them, don't want you to pay for their dinner, they want to pay for their half and stuff, even though you were wanting to take them out to dinner. That gets on my nerves. Chivalry, how you say that? Chivalry? I can't say it. Me, you know, I like that. I like a gentleman and a freak in the sheets. But yeah, like, and I'll tell you something else that gets on my nerves. Why do women got to insert themselves in everything? They'd be the NASCAR, they'd be trying to play football. Now, I believe in women, you know, being strong, independent, and, you know, everybody's equal and all that, but I don't know. I'm not a feminist. I should say it like that. I don't like that feminist crap. Now, if anybody else is a feminist, to each their own. I don't judge you for that. I judge you how you treat me. But that's not for me. Hell to the no. I'm an old school girl. Thank you for covering this case. This is the first I heard of it. Well, thank you, Justin, for coming in here and chatting with Robbie. I'm not too professional, honey. We just do things CC's way around here. This is CC's world. Anyways, I thought that would be this was an interesting case to talk about. So doing the true crime news this morning, I didn't see anything that was really catching my eye. So the next one we're going to do, and hopefully it's a better stream without any robot and stuff, is going to be Dr. Jeffrey Mcdonald. Killed his family back in the 70s, but he wasn't charged for the murders until like 10 years later. Yeah, actually his wife's stepfather actually defended him for a long time. And then, you know, he figured out, hey, this son of a bitch killed my daughter and my granddaughters. And he wouldn't stop until they got Jeffrey Mcdonald charged. He's still in prison. He's elderly now and really sick. A lot of people think he's innocent. A lot think he's guilty. I don't know. I mean, it's possible someone could have broke in there and stabbed him and stabbed his family to death with an ice pick. But here's the thing, the family was butchered, and all of his wounds, where his stab wounds was, it missed all major organs, you know, or to stab himself because he was a doctor, right? Cece is a wonderful, great recommendation, Robbie. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I try to be nice and kind and respectful to everybody, you know. I don't like to come on the internet and argue with people because I can get mean. I don't like that side come out of it. Just I met CC shortly after I started my channel a few years ago. She's great. Yeah, let me tell y'all a story. I come across Save Robbie's video one day, and he was doing this video about Molly Golightly and defending her, and I was sitting there rolling my eyes. I'm like, what in the hell, dude? What in the hell? You seem like a nice guy. Anyways, I was doing a live stream, and I was like, yeah, I watched a guy named Save Robbie. His video was really annoying. And about 2 seconds later, he come in my chat, and I was so embarrassed. And I apologized. But I've just never liked her. And I don't know. I've got this gift of like seeing people for what they really are. And sometimes other people can't. And I just automatically saw right through her, you know. Just like Natasha Cooper. It's another one. I don't want to get on that because I think I saw some people that subscribed to me over our commenting nice comments on her channel. So I'm going to have to be respectful, not saying nothing about her, I guess. But, oh, my God. Molly is nuts. Hey, she's a freaking bitch. Straight up bitch. Thinks she's better than everybody else because she got some moolah. That money don't buy you no class, and it can't buy you a good heart. She's not a nice person. I'm so disappointed in Ryan Upchurch. You know, he's hooking up. He's hooking up with these bad people that has victim bashed and things. You know, if he wants to, he needs to find him a bigger true crime channel that's a respectful person, you know, to support. Oh gosh, I started to leave him a message on TikTok today, but I knew it started a bunch of stuff on YouTube. But I wanted to say, hey, you've been supporting some vile people on YouTube. Maybe you should look up some videos about them, victim bashing and things. Putting kids' faces on candles and stuff and saying, I don't need permission, they're dead. Things like that, you know, but I didn't. You know, I was like, then I'll have to end up saying some mean things. This is why I love CC. I can't get. Well, see, I tried to move past that cement shoes and go back and watch her, and I just couldn't. I've been unsubscribed probably for a year now. I just can't with her. She treated that woman that was up on her panel the other day sharing her story about her son's overdose. She treated her like crap. If I could have got through that screen, I would have beat the shit out of her for that. I mean, that was uncalled for. When the attention ain't on her, honey, she gets mad. That's what happens. I don't follow the cases Molly does. I just like bug her like a little brother. Yeah, I wish she'd straighten up, y'all. Sorry, Robbie, if you like her. Sorry if y'all like her. I'm so sorry. I don't. She needs to quit being mean-spirited. Because I find her very mean-spirited. Anyways, I'm going to pray for her. You know, sometimes she can be quite funny. And stuff. She really can. She can be quite funny. And she can draw in an audience. Now, I'll give her that. She can draw in an audience. Hey, Robbie, don't be sorry. Well, I didn't like what she said to you back when she was coming to visit you, Robbie. When she said that, I'm going to make you relapse. It pissed me off. See, I get pissed off over things. I don't always say nothing about it, but, you know. It pissed me off. I thought, oh, you're a great freaking friend. I know that she was just joking, but that right there just shows no care for your well-being. You know what I mean? I bash Shanann a lot, but I'm slowly backing off of that. I upset a lot of people. Oh, no, Justin. You know, I was always fair about the Watts case. I have said I thought Shanann was a little bossy. There's a lot of women that's bossy, but nothing she could ever done. You know, she didn't deserve what happened to her and the girls. You know, I'm not real bossy and like wearing the pants and zipping them too. You know what I mean? But she was. But then again, she kind of had to because Chris was such a loser. He couldn't do nothing. He couldn't stick his finger up his own butt. There's good and bad about everyone. We all have our opinions and are allowed. Yeah. I don't care for anyone's opinion unless you're giving your opinion on me and it's not too nice. Or my personal life. But true crime cases, I respect, or anything else we talk about, I respect everybody's opinion as long as they come at me respectfully, you know? But anyways, I got to get off here, guys. I got to get some things done. I got to make a phone call and see if my cat scratcher come in the mail. Miss Nettie ordered Cleo like this ultimate cat scratcher, and I have tracked the package to the post office, and they said it came like August 22nd. It said attempted delivery being held at carrier. That's what it says. And I'm like, attempted delivery is a damn P.O. box. What in the hell are they talking about? Which I've had Amazon packages say that before. Hopefully it's up there at the post office. We'll have to go inside and see if there's not a package slip. Because, you know, that little thing she sent was pricey. And my daggone Cleocatra, she needs a damn cat scratcher. She's getting tired of the damn post office. Hey, that little cat, when she gets a package, I'll say, "Come on, Cleo, you got some mail." She knows what I'm talking about. She'll get up and come over there. She's awesome. She's awesome. I got to find Zoe a home, though. I can't keep her. I want to, but if I can't find her a home, I'll have to keep her. I was going to see if Carolina girl might want her, and I would drive her down to her, meet her somewhere. Carolina girl, if you're listening to the replay, if you want to adopt Zoe, let me know, because I know you're a good person and a cat person. Cleocatra, yeah. Hey, she's got a boyfriend that's been crushing on her. His name's Mark Anthony, Mike. Yeah, he's been sending her gifts. It's Nettie's cat, Miss Nettie's cat. Anyways, y'all have a great Friday, and I'm going to try to see y'all tomorrow night on a member stream. And I'm going to do everything in my power to make this member stream happen, okay? Anyways, thanks for chatting. Thanks for your support. Be safe, be kind, and peace.